Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me a placeholder file. This isn't the one, this is mine that I took his and redrew it, and I thank him for kind of giving me the idea. But what I did, let's back out of here a little bit. He sent me this file, and it looks okay with the exception of right off the bat, I could see that there's a black line and it's not even connected to the red line, and the living hinge is yellow. Don't really understand why that would be. And so what you would immediately do is just go down here and grab that, go into range, group those together, and turn them into red lines. And evidently I didn't go far enough. So and I'm trying to do it real skinny because if I get that line, I will group it with it. So let's see if this works. And then left click your mouse and you'll get them all red. Now, since we've got those, and I did get that line, but that's not important. So let's ungroup it. Let's just take that line away. Then go back and group it together. Now, a couple of things I didn't like about it. And I mean, I'm not, I like it, but it's real small. This thing is made, I mean, it wouldn't hold the 8-inch plate. It's only 6.7 inches tall and only 4 inches tall. Was 4.5 inches tall and only 6.7, so it would hold a very little plate. But I'm gonna repair this, and I actually did, and I cut it out. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our shape tool, and you can see I'm already gonna grab that node, and I don't want to grab that node, so that's not gonna work. So I'm going to get our 2-point line, straight line, and I'm going to get right on there. I'm just going to draw it and make it touch there. And that looks pretty good. For some reason, the bottom has this, but for the video, I'm going to leave it. It's, we got a little trouble with this node. So whenever you're doing something like this, you're not making it symmetrical, and you've changed a couple of things and you want it symmetrical. So what we're going to do now, we're going to group it, make sure it's in the center of the page. We're going to hit P on the keyboard, so we moved it down just a little bit. And tell you what, I'm going to ungroup it, and I'm going to just, I don't like this bottom touching there. So let's just do this, and let's do a straight line between these two nodes, giving it a flat bottom. All right, now let's group it. Go up to arrange and group, hit P on your keyboard, make sure it's in the center of the page. Now take your 2-point line and just hold down your control button and make a straight line and hit P on your keyboard. And then what you can do is erase half of the easel or the plate holder. Grab that line, just take it away. Now this should all be connected. It is. So we're going to make a duplicate of it. So Control D, and then we're going to mirror it. Now hold down your control button, grab your X, and sometimes this doesn't work, sometimes it does. Anyway, so we're not going to do that. We're going to change our nudge factor to 1 inch. And we're going to grab this and we're just going to nudge over 1 inch. We got pretty close. And we're going to go back and change our nudge factor to 0.001. Now we're just going to nudge over a bunch. And if you've seen some of my other videos, you can hold down the shift key and it'll give you a super nudge. It'll make your nudge factor go a little faster. And I don't 100% understand why that's not touching. But we can correct that real quick just by ungrouping it. You've always got to ungroup when you're going to use your shape tool. And we're just going to move it down to there. So if that's off, the bottom is probably off. And you can see that it's just barely off. And symmetrical that far doesn't really matter. So we're done. It looks good. It's complete. There's a couple of node problems, but that ought to cut without any problem. And then I'm gonna throw a wrench into this, and I'm gonna take. Well, let's tell you what. Let's do this. Let's lasso it all and weld it together. Now, let's put a index line right in the center of the page. And let's use our shape tool and get it right on the center of the page. And let's turn these two nodes into curves. Well, that ain't working. For some reason. Well, let's just do it this way. Well, sometimes that happens when you just grab the node. So we've thrown a little wrench in it, made it a little more decorative, let's say. So let's group this back together. Let's make the curve apart, break the curve apart, and then group, and you could actually, or do, let's weld it. Now now when I did cut this out, this is real fragile. The lines are actually too far or too close together. So what you can do is just make it a little bit wider and then hit P on your keyboard. And I'm going to show you how to do this. And one thing he had wrong, and I'm not messing with him, but hold down your shift key and get your super nudge. Put all these right on the line. You don't want all those to be cut to the bottom or it'll just fall apart. So grab your control button, hold down your line. We want to get a little bit lower than that. Now we want to cut every other line out, because we don't want it cut all the way through on each one. That looks, well, I messed up there, didn't I? There we go. All right, now you can remove your line, and that way you're not cut all the way through. And you can do the same thing on this top. Now what I'm going to actually do is let's move these down just a hair, because that looks better. Make sure we didn't move the bottom. We didn't. So now what we can do, and this is a pretty good trick, make a duplicate of that whole body, and let's cursor it down or move it down about that far. Now let's reduce or cut these lines, every other line. And if you can see what I'm doing, I'm cutting them to the taper of the plate holder. Now we'll go ahead and remove these excess lines that go off the pattern. And you wouldn't have to do this because they could cut, but it would save you a little laser time, because the lines are going to go right up to the top and cut the whole thing. So it wouldn't matter if it goes a little bit past it, but you know, this is not necessary to go past it, so might as well just cut them out. Anyway, then you could grab your one you moved down and just delete it. So now you've got your lines cut kind of to the contour of the plate. Now I'm going to group this together, and I'm going to put it, get rid of our indexing line. I'm going to put it up there, and then I'm going to erase this one. There's some living hinge, but I'm going to also include this one, which is the cut one, which will hold. This is an 8-inch plate. Now these are decorative little loops, and this holds this plate really securely. So on your plate, if it's thicker, you might have to play with that. And if you don't like this decorative part going across the top, you could actually, make a decorative line. Tell you what, let's move this in the center of the page. And you could make an oval, and you could put the oval right here and just cut that out. Do exactly what I did a while ago. Of course, you'd want to make sure it's in the center of the page. And then just cut that out, and then this wouldn't show, and do the same thing as I did previously. Anyway, I'm going to save both this file like this and share it on some Facebook pages. It'll be on the Epilogue's fan Facebook page for sure, along with this video. This is pretty neat because they would store flat, especially if you're selling plates. I'm talking about decorative plates you put on a wall or a shelf of your dining room. But these things would store flat, and then when you get to your event to show them off, you could spring them open and open them up. Now on this one, I raised it up to hold the plate off the ground. You don't want the plate touching, because then it would just kind of rock. So I did a little decorative, and you could change this up quite a bit and do anything you wanted there. Anyway, I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.